Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the fifth day of Limbag Kamay Contemporary Print Fair. We still had the sale going on at the cartolino.com, so you can shop for more prints for the remaining 3 days. So today we've got a double panel presentation, a double feature attraction. But first of all, I got to remind everyone that this is Angela Silva, your friendly printmaker with all the questions. The first presentation we have at 2 o'clock, or right now, is with the PWU, uh, Philippine Women's University, a conversation with Dean Josephine Turalba, and about their printmaking initiatives. That's because the PWU, Philippine Women's University, has the longest running relationship with printmaking, I think, in the Philippines, until someone can correct me. We will have a pre-recorded video for about 47 minutes, and then we will come back with a live Q&A with Noel Quizon and Noel El Farol from PWU. Then later this afternoon, you'll have to come back at 4 o'clock for another panel presentation about community printmaking in the Visayas. So next, let's go take a look at this video, and I'll see you back at the live Q&A. Audio glitch. We'll restart again. There was a minor audio glitch. We'll try the video again. Okay, everyone, as soon as the video is okay, we'll be playing it right away. We'll have to try it again. Okay, I think what I'm going to do here is just talk about the video a little bit, and we'll see about how we can stream. We've got a couple of backup ideas here. So this is a conversation with Josephine Turalba, and she's a dean of PWU. She had been formerly a dean there, an academic instructor, and then she returned as a dean in about 2018. So when I first met her, we had this conversation about, making art because we met as in a group show, and then we both learned that we are sort of beginning printmakers and that we were both doing a kind of intaglio printmaking, which is using photopolymer plates, something new. And I'm going to get a little technical here. It's what commercial offset printers use on their machines to make, quick printing jobs. So they sell them as photopolymer plates that printmakers abroad now make and use for intaglio printmaking. So it's like an etched image, but not acid. No acid involved. It's actually a water developed, wash. Um, so by So I think we're going to keep trying back and forth. So I hope you'll bear with us. And I think what I'd like to do is see if I can also share my screen and maybe my video. Hope that there won't be any glitches while I play it, because I'm all the way in Bacolod, in Negros. Let's try that. We're going to try it again. Hi, good evening. Good
Hi,
morning.
Angela.
Good morning,
Good
Josephine.
evening.
Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us for Print Fair, and for an
My
interesting
pleasure.
a good conversation that we're going to have about PWU and about us as friends and co-printmakers. And I hope that they'll find it interesting about Philippine Women's University's printmaking initiatives. So for everybody, I'm going to start sharing the screen to see what we can learn about this, about PWU. And here we go. Now we've got everything all set up. So this is a conversation with Josephine Turalba, the Dean of the School of Fine Arts and Design at Philippine Women's University. And it's okay to call you Jing, right, Josephine?
Sure.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, good. And I would like to just give some brief background. You and I had met when we both exhibited at a group show here in Bacolod. And that was at the Not Another Woman and Child. And it was nothing to do with printmaking, but it was all about a very strong theme with women's, topic about, and we met and bonded, and then all of a sudden learned that we were both on a very similar path of getting back into printmaking. I hadn't been doing it for a few years. You had started doing it. You were also taking workshops abroad, and you had an etching press. So that's how we just got excited and bonded. And this was already about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So
Yes,
since
yes.
so
That was yeah, your work there was the one that caught me. It was uh, those prints, and I
yes,
was wondering how you you transfer those photographs on your prints. And
yes,
because I was experimenting and exploring with the photopolymer plates at that well, up to now, but at that time,
yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah. And what I saw about your work was not at all about prints. It was a sculpture, three armor-like figures. And then we learned more that you are a multidisciplinary artist. You've done sculptures and performing arts and videos. So it's really multidisciplinary. Where's your
yes.
studio now?
Well, I have a studio in Manila and
Mm-hmm.
in Boston, like a
Mm-hmm.
small studio here. So I work in both between both cities. Yes.
When did you join Philippine Women's University?
I was a faculty and dean in as faculty in 2011 and 2012, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and then became the dean in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then 2015, 2016, I took a leave, right? And I just got back to it last year, 2020. Right.
Okay, that's great because you were able to share with me, you and Noel Kizon and Noel Elfrol, your team had shared with Print Fair, Limbag Kamay, that there was a long history of the arts, especially with printmaking, at PWU. And there are two other videos through the historical timeline as well as the transitions, um, not videos, actually, they were presentations that are available for viewing if our viewers are interested, and we'll make that available through a Google Drive download. But we're going to focus today in this talk on the third of those presentations that you call Trajectories. And it follows the timeline from 1967 to 2012 and now 2018 and the new normal. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So PWU has a very rich history of printmaking. So the father of printmaking in the Philippines, Manuel Rodriguez, began put up this the school or started doing his workshops in PWU. So the SMP is the Sentro ng Malikhaing Paglilimbag. So it is actually the translation of which is the Center for Creative Printmaking, right? So this is the creative and research hub of SFAD in PWU for printmaking.
Got it.
So this is the center that we put up. It was a recreation of the Center for Visual Printmaking in 2012, which a recreation of this center. So it is now renamed to, in 2018, renamed to Sentro ng Malikhaing Paglilimbag. And it aims to promote visual printmaking, right? The artistic discourse, and the new modes of expression with the students, our new generation of artists. And with this center, we have our trajectories, which is we are having competitions in print, artistic exchange, and linkages with local and international institutions or universities. That's where we're heading.
So 2018 to through the new normal, you're going to be setting new directions.
Yes, yes.
So what about these competitions?
So yeah, in 2019, we began the competition and established the intercollegiate uh, student printmaking competition. So it's really centered on prints, just print.
Mm.
So this will encourage printmaking in further. Yes, and in 2019, sorry,
Oh, I'm
we
sorry.
began 2019. We began 2019 with entitled Bakas at Bukas. And in 2019, there were uh, about 50
Mm-hmm.
participants. And in 2020, more than almost 120. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
more than 100 participants. So yes, this intercollegiate printmaking competition was really, and then we give the JCB award for printmaking. This is established by the son of Dr. Jolly Benitez. So Dr. Jolly Benitez was the uh, also president of PWU many years back, but after that, it was uh, his son, Dr. Francisco Benitez, who's now a congressman, was also the president of PW, and he established this intercollegiate uh, competition. So the award um, is in the name of his father, um, Jose Conrado Benitez. And this is really in support, no, of the history that PWU was the first center of printmaking in the Philippines. So we have a long history of the president, the university president supporting the arts. And so this goes on. Yes. Also, this was in tandem with the university centennial celebration in 2019.
Oh,
Because at that time, 2019, it was 100 years
yeah.
since PWU was established in 1919. So, okay, so, and then in this is the first and only intercollegiate annual printmaking competition in the country. Okay, so, yes, as I was talking about it earlier, in 2019, there were submissions of about 50 students from different fine art schools in Manila. Um, yes, and then actually the winner here was a student from UP, no,
Mm.
on the first competition.
Oh, here's the
Uh,
history. Mm-hmm.
right. So the history, yes. So the father of Philippine printmaking, Manuel Rodriguez Sr., he taught workshops in PW because, again, as I said, um, it was supported. But at that time, the president was Senator Helena Benitez, and so one of his students included was our very own master printmaker, Pandy Aviado, um, who was also an alumnus of PW. Um, and then they formed the Philippine Association of Printmakers,
Mm.
which is the precursor of the present day Association of Pinoy Printmakers. No? Yeah, so with that, after uh, Senator Helena Benitez, it's the seventh president, as I said earlier, Dr. Benitez, really supported also the artists within the walls of PWU. gave them a home, you know,
Mm-hmm.
welcomed them. Right? And that continues up to now. That
Mm-hmm.
legacy, we really want to um, keep that and continue that. Okay, so in 2020, the JCB Award for Printmaking, um, and the competition was entitled Bayanihan, Sayaw, sa Himig ng Panahon. This was the second year of the competition, and there were more than 100 entries that were submitted.
This
Yes,
was, it looks like just before the pandemic, April 4, 2020, no?
yes. In fact, when
Yeah.
the pandemic hit, we were in the process of returning the work. So
Oh.
it actually got held up at school
Mm.
because of the pandemic. So we had to stop deliveries and pickups um, during that time. So yes, and so now it's on hold. So 2021 we didn't have one,
Mhm.
and I think we'll be resuming as soon as we come face to face. That's probably next year, no? Uh, and really, the competition's team here, Bayanihan, had the concept of the Bayanihan. You know how the Bayanihan originated also in PWU under um, uh, director Susie Benitez, no? Who was a Bayanihan dancer. So
Oh,
it
okay.
has been popularized
Mhm.
by PWU. So actually, Bayanihan dancers is internationally known. No?
Mhm.
They went traveling all around the world, bringing Philippine culture. And so through dance. And so, yes, this was adopted as the competition theme to, and it says, finding the essence of the Filipino culture. No, really, it's PWU's vision also in nation building.
Mm.
So this is how printmaking contributes. Printmaking as an art contributes to nation building, yeah, to our culture and nation building. Okay, so the judges. Um, we had our two former illustrious deans of the fine arts, Virgilio Pandi Aviado and Raul Isidro, who are still very supportive of SFAD. You know? And the other alumna of PW, Brenda Fajardo, of JASM, yeah, PW JASM, um, Miss Brenda, Miss Brenda Fajardo. So those were the three judges in the last uh, competition. And really the students were encouraged to share, their experiences in the competition and in their production process. And so there were exchanges that happened in the gallery um, with peers and colleagues, faculty and students, no? Intercollegiate as well. So outside, external to BW, having this artistic exchange in our venue. And
Yeah. If I may
yeah,
comment, it's a really good way to have students experience, the process of submission and judging, and then sharing the experience, and discussing. That's a really learning experience, like something that you would prepare in advance for, an art career, to be exposed to that. That's a good start in school.
yes, yeah. So we have our gallery as like a studio space, like a teaching studio venue,
Mhm.
as well as a gallery. So
Mhm.
that's one of our features, no? As well. So artistic exchange, we also have um, at, okay. So we had like a workshop series in 2018.
Mhm.
Our facilitator and faculty in PWU, also an alumnus, Jess Flores, master printmaker as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Jess Flores.
I know of his
Um,
wonderful
yes,
wonderful etchings. Yeah.
yes. And he, you will see a little bit in the
Hmm.
next slide, his workshop. And then while we were in lockdown in 2020, we had a workshop, a workshop by, it's like a more of a workshop on virtual, so webinar by another alumnus and master printmaker as well, Noel El Farol.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and these were all free, no,
Hmm.
given to our community.
I really appreciate
Yes.
you. You sent me the link to attend this Tawid online art design. The Spark Your Creativity Printmaking Without a Press, and that was with making monotypes. That was really cool because that was, I think, one of my first uh, kind of online workshop to see it happening, locally. And Noel was really good at it. I hope it's recorded and maybe could be shared with more viewers later. Just let us
Yes,
know.
it
Yeah.
definitely it was recorded. We're still finding a way on how to make this available online.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, it will be soon. And here, these are the images of the workshop in in 2018 by Jess. There's Jess teaching the printmaking, yeah, teaching the workshop, and then um, yeah. So this was the, and then it culminates in an exhibition
Hmm.
at our gallery, ESFA JCB Gallery. Yes, and this was also the webinar series by Noel Alfarol. Uh, and we had it open and free to our
Mm.
community. I hope you, I mean, you said you enjoyed it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it wasn't that long though, but he did um, a really good job there.
I hope you'd offer more because what I'm familiar with in colleges, universities, abroad, like the United States, they would have these what they call continuing education programs that would be open to the general public, and that's to me, a very very good resource to learn.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's good you mentioned it because, yes, we are launching our short courses. We have short courses available, and one of it is on printmaking.
Oh, good,
Um,
good.
coming soon this
Mhm.
November. It will be launching this November. Watch out for it in our new website is also launching uh, perhaps end of this month, October. Yeah, we're just
Yeah,
really ironing out the last details.
yeah.
And you will see it there under continuing education. We have short courses for printmaking, acrylic, oil, and even just eye opener on cultural and uh, artistic, actually cultural um, uh, orientation for non-artists. No, for those
How
who want to just, yeah.
how do those short courses work? Is there a credit um, to that for the students?
Yeah, so it's open to all the for the beginners short
Mm.
courses, right? And then there will be for the second phase more short courses to be available that steps up. So it's more like a ladderized, so beginners,
Mm. Mhm.
intermediate, advanced, and then each short course we put an equivalency. So one short course is equivalent to one unit, which can be credited towards your bachelor's degree
Mm.
in school, right? So if you take, for example, three courses, it can be credited to like a 3 unit
Mhm.
subject in your bachelor's degree. In fact, um, the School of Diplomacy is very supportive of our short courses, and she has the dean has um, made it compulsory, no,
Mm.
for her students of international relations to learn about Philippine culture, for example, through these short courses. Yes. So yes, it can be credited, and if the student wants.
Sounds like a very flexible way of learning. You're able then to have new and different topics, or just to check it
Yes.
out before you pursue it deeper. That sounds very
Also,
good.
uh, also because in the mainstream university tertiary level, uh, faculty cannot teach without a master's degree, right? But again, one generation, maybe two generations before us, people didn't have to take masters. Artists
Mhm.
and designers didn't have to have master's degree to teach in the tertiary level. So the master printmaker, for example, a master artist, for example, that we consider now as masters, how come they cannot teach in the tertiary
Yeah,
level? It's
yeah, yeah,
because they don't have, like, for example, you,
yeah.
Angela, you're an expert in your field, right? Of, let's say, printmaking,
Mm, mm,
cyanotype,
mm,
and I'd like you to teach with us, right? You cannot on
mhm,
the mainstream.
mhm.
So this short course, we have picked experts in the field to be able
Ah,
to, yeah. So it's like formalizing a non-formal uh, method, right?
yeah, yeah.
So this is our way of bridging that gap, you know. So experts like you, for example, in this whatever medium you have, or artistic field you are in, or design field, we uh, allow and choose uh, you to be the, for example, facilitator of that short course. But these short courses have structures, right? So they're
Mhm,
yes, so they also have the learning
mhm.
uh, outcomes, the objectives, etc., and activities that parallel, the mainstream credited subjects.
That
So
I can, I
it's
can.
really nice because I, I'm so frustrated. Um, the master artists who have all the experts, and don't have the master's degree cannot teach. Really, I'm frustrated because they're the rich uh, source resource. They're a rich
Yeah, yeah,
resource
yeah,
that we're just throwing away.
yeah, yeah.
So in this way, I'm we are bridging that gap. Really,
It's almost a fascinating opportunity, also, even for artists to consider, teaching to see if that is something that they would like to do. I do teach, and we'll be getting into that shortly. But I know that I enjoy teaching and sharing. So it's a particular kind of person also who could do that. And it would be interesting what kind of talent, your university might be able to draw in, you know.
yes. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Like,
So,
for example, our facilitator in our um, short course, no? In Okay, so you'll have to cut it here because I'm going to just pull out the my here.
do you want to share it?
Well, I'd like to talk about the continuing education. So far, this is what we are launching by November. Um, See, watercolor basics from award-winning artists. You see, we picked the Ernesto Veroya,
Mhm.
yes, and press and impress, making prints without a press.
There we go.
Okay, here we go.
That's good.
Joey Cobcobo.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Great.
Joey is an expert in this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um, and here he is. Okay. And then we have oil painting for serious beginners. Um, and then we have mark making using soft pastel, uh, Celeste Lecaros, eye openers. Okay, this is the one I was referring to for those, for example, who are not in the field of the art um, outside but want to learn about
mm-hmm,
visual perception,
mm-hmm.
right? Abstract acrylic painting for serious beginners. We have uh, Jose Alayu, okay, etc.
That's
Okay, so
great.
this is the first um, batch, no, and
Mm-hmm,
it is going to we will be adding more sooner, and it can be we call it ladderized. It can
mm-hmm.
be used as the next step up and up ladderized learning.
Oh, that's something to look forward to. The website looks great, and all the offerings, very a variety. That's going to be very interesting. If there's anything that PWU might want to uh, put out a one-page information sheet, we could offer it as a download. We will have some resources available in a Google Drive, and so then any interested people might be able to download so they can remember to watch out
Okay.
for your anything, a small
Yeah,
poster or
maybe
information sheet.
we could send out the press and impress
Yes,
workshop,
yes, yes.
printmaking workshop.
Good.
Great. I'll send you the art card.
Thanks. So we're back to the. I think this is the third part of your presentation.
Yeah. Right. So we're also having our trajectory for uh, reestablishing, recreating, and making new connections, uh, and linkages and partnerships outside PWU. So
Mm-hmm.
just so like in 2018 here we had the 50 years of Philippine printmaking uh, to celebrate this, and this was uh, we were we had our faculty members be part of this 50 years of Philippine printmaking through Tirada, no? This was held in CCP. So we have our faculty, Jess Flores, Sam Oxeno, Noel El Farol, and Noel Quizon that joined this. Yeah, I think you also joined this, Angela,
Yes, I did. It was
right?
like the first
Yes.
time
How
I
was that?
really was in a printmaking community, and it was awesome. I met people for the first time, and it was a very good community. Very outstanding show, I think. And there's a wonderful catalog to download, and that
There you go.
they can go to the CCP website to download it. It's good. It's quite comprehensive, and it was also curated by Patrick Flores, who had just presented a talk last Tuesday for this print fair.
Right.
And then,
Okay. Another project which you and I are our favorite. So okay. So I heard about this from you, and thank you very much for that, Angela. And so you can talk about
oh,
where you got this. Yeah.
yes, what happened was that, and I'll be mentioning it in a later talk in more detail when I talk about the community printmaking practices. It's the
Okay.
next lecture this afternoon, and I hope you can join us from Boston. But it was a move away from in-person workshops because of the
Right.
pandemic. And then I approached and did some online workshops, and I was able to make these little 3D printed etching presses. and
Right.
found a local supplier maker in Bacolod and started to, hand them out because we were going to build a series of workshops. And then you took
Right.
on the idea.
Oh yeah, I found it really, really interesting and exciting because at that time I had just received the 3D printer that I ordered like several months before, and it had arrived in my studio, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to try to print this."
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
did.
great,
So
great.
I printed the 3D mini press,
Mm-hmm.
and then I said, I think we can share this with our students. And since it's a pandemic, we could send it to their homes and they could learn printmaking through this. And so, yes, Jess Flores, if you know this here, he used it in his class.
Mm-hmm.
And these are, you'll see some of these plates here of the students,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, this is the coming from the Open Press project, and it is in the openpressproject.com. Yes. So they made available the file for the 3D file, STL file for
Look,
printing the press. It's so
look at
cute.
you, so
Yeah.
high. You're so high tech.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just working and paralleling what you're doing there in Bacolod and really making printmaking available to more, no? And here are the results. Okay, so you see these are the small uh, prints, really making it
Yeah,
accessible to the students
yeah,
and not too daunting. No?
yeah.
It's just a small piece of
Three,
paper.
three by
What is it?
five,
Three by,
three by
there
five,
you go.
and even
Maximum.
but
Yes.
by the time you and I have this conversation, and sharing it during print fair, uh, yesterday already, Thursday, because this is today would be Friday. Thursday, Elmer Borlongan in the studio visit with him would also be demonstrating printmaking using a 3D printed press.
Oh,
So,
so cute.
it's
Okay.
like there's this spread, of these little toy presses that really work, So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And
So yes,
then,
and then these are the prints. We put it in a small portfolios, these small boxes.
mhm.
Yes.
I love the look
Uh-huh.
at the work. I mean, that is, good lines in a trace monotype on the left, and then it looks like an etching on the right. Because I know Jess
Right.
is very good with etchings and dry point. So, uh,
Right. So yeah, these are the works of his students um, in the printmaking class.
oh, and that's all in that little box portfolio. I hope you could make it available,
Ah,
for sale or something. How many students in the class had these little presses?
so we had there were 7 students
Mm, mm,
last term, no? And this term, I think there are more.
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
yes, and we are waiting for their print,
mhm.
and uh, it will be put together with last term's um, print. And they are edition, by the way. So they're taught how to edition. They're taught how to make the portfolio
Mhm,
together.
mhm.
Learning curves. There was one who was scared to use the print and was allowed by the faculty to use the rolling pin instead of the
A
what's your
roll.
press?
I know. I know. It's still a press. It's still a roller. You know,
Yeah.
I'm so happy that a few of your PWU students submitted to exhibit at Print Fair, Limbang Kamay, on Jess's, encouragement and yours. And also Jess submitted, you submitted, Noel submitted. I mean, they're all we all have submissions from PWU faculty and students here at Print Fair. So,
Yes.
it's a good experience all around and very, very supportive of what we're doing here.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Thank you. Um,
Oh,
yeah. So what is this? The print in it. Okay. Looking forward to
mhm.
um, locally and internationally. Just I don't want to announce anything yet, but yes, we're looking into linkages with Iran when we go face to face, perhaps, and then one in the U.S. and we're looking into the UK as well
That's great.
through the British Council. Well, cross fingers, yes,
Does that mean
to get there.
you might be able to invite printmakers to come to the Philippines?
Uh,
Is
as soon as we have a linkage, for example, or a partnership with a university, and it's open for artist
mm,
exchange and student exchange as well. Um, but not at the moment because of our COVID. Perhaps we'll open already and they feel safe,
mhm, mhm.
then it will kick in. But uh, we are communicating and preparing these for the face to face. I mean, when we open up, yes, looking really forward to those linkages.
This has been great. This has been a great conversation about, and I guess it's not an
Oh,
introduction about PWU.
yeah, wait.
It's a
Before we
revisiting.
move on,
Yeah.
I wanted to highlight like we had a program, the artist, visiting artist, a
Mhm,
faculty who came in from the U.S.
mhm,
She teaches here in the U.S. and she came over. That was an exchange. She taught also in our master's program for one trimester, and then she also exhibited in our gallery. So, and then she had an artist talk, open the community. We invited people from LaSalle. Oh, she also had another conference in LaSalle. So while she was with us, she was also connecting to other communities, local communities. So we have local visiting arts faculty.
mhm,
Another one that we are looking into is um, and and hosting a local artist, like a visiting artist who can do a project with our students and really looking into collaborating with two schools in PWU, uh, Fine Arts and Design, and a School of Music. So
interesting.
yeah, we have Alwin Reamilio. We're in the works.
Oh,
Um,
that's great.
it's really interesting because he'll be collaborating with the School of Music. You know, Alwin's work um, uh, are mainly with the piano, right?
Yeah.
So
He's
he has
he's
yeah,
currently at the NCCA with an exhibition. I think that musicology, and
yes,
it's a wonderful takeoff. He's actually coming to Negros, hopefully, and he'll be meeting up. So I look forward to meeting him too in person. We've now sort of met
yes,
up online. It's so great to reach out and meet people online, and then I guess when it's safe to travel again, I'll be back in Manila and you'll be back in Negros again, so that we can just
yes,
catch up with each other. So this
yes.
has been so interesting, and I wanted to thank you, Josephine. Before we go, would you have anything to say to your students and to every printmaker around who might be listening as to how much uh, studying in a formal educational system to learn about printmaking versus learning on your own? How is that possible?
Oh yeah, I mean, Angela, you and I have been experimenting, exploring on our own. Artists do this with or without formal education. Um, but at the same time, formal education gives you a community. I mean, easy community. Immediately you have your colleagues, classmates, faculty to be your community. No? For exploring artists outside the educational system, though they will have to work a little bit harder. But there are many opportunities as well. And then our offerings of short courses also give you the opportunity, right, to connect.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yes, and just going to that, I think what we really want, we have in PW SPAD is we have the traditional, right, printmakers and the classic way of doing it, the formal
Mhm.
way. But at the same time, we challenge our faculty to bring in the contemporary, right?
Mm.
So you and I are exploring photopolymer plates.
Yeah, the
You know,
form
the,
of acid-free intaglio plate making.
there
So
you go.
we don't
Yeah,
have to do acid, and it's a new learning curve. It's also a little expensive, so it's tricky, but it's beautiful.
safer.
Almost, yeah. It's just lovely. And I know that you and I will want to have more play dates because we were planning to before pandemic to try and
Right.
really get into this photopolymer intaglio. No, you've got a press.
Yes.
I've got a press. And we've both taken workshops, with Zia Mays in Boston, right?
Yes.
See, oops.
Yes. Oh,
Eh,
and taking it also further, no, not just a 2D print on paper, but some artists, some of our faculty also take it further, you know, 3D and then or layering, as you were saying little
mhm, mhm,
earlier,
mhm,
mixed media with
mhm. We're
yes,
going.
go
We
ahead.
actually have a classification here at Print Fair where some of the printmakers' submissions we're pushing it a little bit beyond, just the print on paper. And so we have some on textile, and we also have some as artist books, and that's what something I'd like to pursue with you would be the structural narratives of artist books, because it can take prints and then you just think about the interactive elements of going through a book, and so
Right.
that was something to work on also, and see where we can get that. So
Yeah.
you know,
I remember you mentioned that you would be happy to teach
mm, mm.
book art
Art,
with us.
the book
Maybe
arts.
a short course. I don't know, book
Yeah,
art. Yes.
exactly. The book arts. Why not?
Yeah.
Introduction, and it's a nice. I think something again to challenge ourselves, taking it to the next level. So
That's beautiful. I took a class on that as well here.
yeah,
Um, and with the letterpress,
yes,
we're mixing
yeah, yeah,
intaglio,
yeah.
letterpress, and then on yeah, and to make a book.
You
Ah, it's
know,
exciting.
okay, that's where I'm going to go
Different
after.
types of books,
Yeah,
how to
that.
fold,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
beautiful.
That's where I'm going to
Um,
go after you again. PWU and letterpress. How about that? Letterpress. I think that would be awesome,
yes.
because you can
Well,
bring
we teach
in,
calligraphy,
yeah,
but
yeah.
letterpress would
Okay.
be amazing. Yes.
Oh, good, good. Well, I think our time is up, but Josephine, this has been like really, really eye-opening. Having PWU committed to printmaking, your strong, very strong initiatives through the next few years, hopefully at the new website, lots of things to watch out for. So I really appreciate your taking the time and for PWU to remind us, that you're there and you're going strong. So thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for this opportunity to share
Mhm.
our program.
Good.
Thanks again, Angela. I'm looking forward to our play date when
Yes.
we go face to face.
The play dates. Your studio and then my studio here.
And yes, amazing.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Jing. Good night, good morning, and be safe out there. Okay.
Yes. Thank
Good.
you. So
But
wait, um, so you stop recording and
there you go. I forgot to unmute myself. So at that point, we stopped recording and we just caught up with each other. And what I wanted to do then is bring on live a couple of special people to answer some questions that might come in. And that would be the SFAD School of Fine Arts Department and the JCB Jose Benitez Gallery Arts Manager Nuki Quizon, Noel Nuki Quizon. Hi, Nuki. Welcome
Hello,
back.
Angela. Good
Hi.
afternoon.
And then I'd like to also bring in Noel El Farol, and he is the consultant and program developer for the short courses program at PWU. So I hope Noel can join us. And let's see. Um, there he is.
Hi, hello everyone.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm not sure that you got to see the entire video. Do you have
yes,
any
I did.
just quick
I saw.
reactions? Good. And Nuki, any reactions or updates? Since then, since this was recorded about a week ago, do you have any updates?
Well, I just want to make some maybe comments on what our dean has mentioned already in the video. So I think we can share what PWU is all about, no programs, and its long history, of being the printmaking. Well, where printmaking became active during the 60s, no, and 70s. No? So I think it's more on a combination of the formal and informal education that the institution is espousing. No? It's like what Dean Turalba mentioned about workshops or short courses for continuing education. No? While we have this academic training for students who want to pursue a bachelor of fine arts degree, we are also open to other possibilities, no, in terms of informal education.
Great. Yes. I Noel, you're on mute.
Yeah. Well, may I say something also? I guess in addition to some uh, programs mentioned by Dean Toralba, we had one time um, a collaboration with Pinoy Printmakers, the PAP, when I think at that time I was the elected president of PAP, which then was changed to Pinoy Printmakers, and then we had a residency program which was attended uh, by Jade Hoyer from University of Minnesota, and she had an exhibition at PW.
That's
So
great.
yeah, it was like a collaboration between PW and the Pinoy printmakers.
That sounds so promising that there's now going to be these kinds of initiatives to collaborate between institutions, your school, because we're just a group of printmakers here informally
Mhm,
collecting. But
mhm,
once we are able to be invited to join more of your offerings outside of your academic structure, that's going to be very good all around, I think. We will learn both informally, like through your outstanding continuing education program, Noel,
mhm, Mhm.
um, I was excited to take it. I saw you for the first time, like actually conducting a live,
Uh-huh.
workshop, and it
Mhm.
works. It works. So I've always kept that in my head when I was developing my own workshops, and then with Nuki, that you've got the long history and tradition, but you're also taking it further. And it's nice to think that there would be exhibitions at the JCB gallery. So um, I'd like to bring this to a couple of questions so far that have been sent to us from a printmaker, Buds Convocar. Do you see, maybe Noel, you could help? Are there plans that you know about for printmaking competitions for professional artists? What do you think,
Mhm.
Noel?
Um, well, in fact, there are many art competitions for professional artists, but unfortunately, not being sponsored locally. Um, One may look into a number of competitions abroad, most especially in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
in Indonesia as well, because there's, I should say, more support when it comes to in this kind of discipline.
Okay.
In local, I used to participate in a number of printmaking competition at that time when I think way back 80s, 90s. After that, I don't know what happened. Maybe there's need more fan to it. I mean, for cash award. But in fact, at that time, AAP, Art Association of the Philippines, they have like a category of printmaking as one category in a competition, and
Mm-hmm.
awardees do not receive cash award, only trophies. And AEP at that time is like considered as the Oscars in the visual art. Yeah, at the time. And I mean, if you win an award in AAP competition, that's something else. It's like, I should say, one of the highest award giving body at the time. And there's no
Well,
cash
yeah,
award offered,
yeah. Well,
right?
well, then correct me if I'm wrong, but at that level,
Mm-hmm.
national competition, professional standards, so
Mm-hmm.
there would have to be a kind of a serious jury, no?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
maybe a national government entity or
Mm-hmm.
body like the NCCA
Mm-hmm.
or the CCP
Mm-hmm.
conducting that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I recall that there used to be the Shell,
Mm-hmm.
competition.
Yeah.
So that's corporate. It's
Mm-hmm.
not affiliated with any
Mm-hmm.
single, institution like
Mm-hmm.
PWU or
Mm-hmm.
Ateneo or anything like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
someone's going to have to take that initiative
Mm-hmm.
on that national level. That's what I've read in a lot of printmaking history. So,
Yeah.
how is that going to happen? You know,
Yeah, Shell until now, I think they do have they still have this competition, but not the, shall we say, the analog way of printing,
mm,
but
mm,
it's now a digital printing
mm,
competition. So well, maybe it's because a lot of the younger generation are into digital printing than
mhm.
the very traditional printmaking. So I guess that will be our responsibility also to introduce, promote, to coexist
Yes, to
with
coexist.
the digital printmaking, because some would consider traditional printmaking is passe. We don't need to go through that kind of complex way of printing and then acquiring different materials, and so we just sit down and then do our printing, right? That's valid. And the traditional way of printing is, again, it's another form of valid
Yeah.
production,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, I think that you and I have had conversations about
Mhm.
that digital, that hybrid, that analog and then digital
Mhm.
mashups and
Mhm.
combinations. but I would first like personally to see that distinction. Make it
Mhm.
digital is digital, and
Mhm.
you may use your concepts and execute it. But then there's also the hand, much more
Yeah.
so,
Mhm.
and the pressure, and
Mhm.
the specialized
Mhm.
skills,
Mhm.
tools, materials. But
Mhm.
that's all part of the creative process.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
that's very
Mhm.
unique to it, and the
Mhm.
idea of limited editions and multiple editions, while the other one could be open editions or
Mhm.
so. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go into digital or make any,
Mhm. Yeah.
encouragement on that. That's for
Mhm.
everybody else to work on.
Yeah.
So, and I have another question here.
Can we still go
Yes,
back to the competition
yes,
issue? Okay. This was brought by Buds, right?
yes.
Um, I remember like in AAP, it's open to both professional and non-professional. I remember when I was still in fine arts in PW then, under Boy Rodriguez. Um, I was active joining competition, especially in printmaking. And uh, at that time when I uh, uh, joined AAP, I was like happy to know that I was competing with Santi Bose.
Wow.
Uh, who else? Uh, some may not. I think some never pursue printmaking anymore, like Teresa Balat. But I still remember uh, those printmakers who won
Yeah,
that annual competition.
yeah.
And so uh, uh, it I guess we can still bring back the glory of a printmaking
Mm,
through this kind of competition.
yeah. Well, we'll see about, if there's this growing interest in printmaking and more practitioners. Well, we'll just have to see who takes notice. Who's going to be the sponsors and we'll just see who's going to be that upper level national sponsorship and so on, because those are their opportunities to
Mhm.
connect with us, the
Mhm.
community. So,
Mhm.
meanwhile, we're going, bottom up.
Mhm.
They can
Yeah.
meet us top down.
Mhm.
So let's go on to the next question.
Okay.
This one is from a printmaker friend, Mars Aglipay. And this is maybe for Nuki, no? Will exploration classes for photopolymer and newer types of printmaking beyond the formal approaches be considered by PWU in the future? Trick
Yes,
question.
definitely, definitely. We we're always on the progressive side, no?
Yes, yes,
PW.
I agree. I agree.
No, maybe I can also connect that with what Patrick, Dr. Flores said yesterday, or was it the other day?
That was
About
Tuesday.
the hierarchy, no, of
Yes.
how printmaking was treated, no. In PWU, as a student, I don't remember printmaking being designated as a minor art form, no? In
Mm.
fact, it was medyo elitista nga yung grupo ng mga printmakers, eh, no? So I can't consider myself a printmaker because I always fail in the techniques, no? Kasi I have this problem with siguro dexterity or like visual, anong tawag doon, dyslexia. So
Tama yan.
yung ang women's is PWU is one university that I think spouses yung more progressive ideas about any art form, no, or any art medium, no. When
Yes.
printmaking was just another or is just another medium, no, sa
Yes. Yes.
art education sa structure, no, academic structure ng women's. And also,
That
I would like to make a rejoinder to what Noel said about the competition. No? PWU would be more than happy to be part of this initiative. No? Parang competitions for
mm-hmm.
professionals, maybe in the
Pwede.
future. Yeah,
Pwede. No? I think that might be doable. You have a gallery.
yeah.
you have a faculty of senior printmakers, so you can advise your students, and then on the other hand, the semi-pros, the professional printmakers come in and they try
Yeah.
their best too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of almost a semi-level playing field as long as your criteria for selection and judgment is very clear, you know, and you might even have levels, you know, the amateur versus the printmaker who has been exhibiting, who has a portfolio, because we'll all enjoy seeing and learning from each other when you have artist talks and you know exhibition catalogs. That can only extend the experience for everybody, not just your students. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, Noel. Um, there's a question about this PWU courses. How can it be available? How can you get more information if it's starting to happen next month? This is from Dion K.
Okay. Um, well, short courses will start by November, and we can post the website of PWU for any informational details regarding application or enrollment. So
Hmm.
we can provide you that website
Hmm.
or link. So
Thank you.
far for well, this is just an initial step of PWU in promoting printmaking, and since this is basically foundation in printmaking, so it will touch on like uh, the use of like I mean the various printmaking techniques or production methods such as monoprint to multiple prints, understanding the basic processes and creative thinking effectively in printmaking, and then
Yeah,
also the use of the various tools and
yeah,
supplies where you can find also these tools, and of course generally to appreciate works of art both within the studio and
yeah,
online
yeah.
learning.
I do have a special request before we go.
Yeah.
That would PWU make your etching presses, bigger etching presses, open to the community with studio time? You know, I don't know, it's a big request, but if you might be the only one that, you know, does have etching presses and a formalized program and you're supporting the, you know, open continuing education, it would be such a godsend, very, very helpful, you know, if we could have access to larger presses. Because our initiative, we're fundraising right now for small desktop etching presses for small home studios. But to get access to a big press by signing up on a scheduled basis, that would be amazing. That would be awesome. So I hope, you know, you would consider that. And at this point, you know, I'd like to extend my big thanks very much to PWU's, you know, history and support of printmaking and of the all the arts, fine arts, and with Nuki's seeing you and your exhibitions, you know, that would be coming up, and Noel with your continuing education, short courses. I really look forward to some good, you know, exciting times with you, and getting your website up and running. That would be a great start. So, if you have anything, just a goodbye, quick tip for printmakers and viewers out there, including your students. How about that? Let's start with you, Nuki.
First, we'd like to thank the organizers of this Limbag Kamay print fair. No? Thank you for involving us and having our students engaged, no, in this very dynamic activity. So I think PW is looking forward to a lot of partnerships in the future, no, and linkages as well. So we
Great.
might open the campus again, like what Mang Maning Senior did, no, during his time.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, Noel, do you have some last words for our viewers?
Yeah. Well, I would like to thank you, Angela, for having me in this forum. And forum like this promotes conversation to help others, especially those who are interested in printmaking, develop also the capacity to understand what printmaking is all about. And in a way, it's like a pre-service orientation also to the public, and hoping we will provide you that kind of services through the continuing education program of
Yeah,
PWU.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you very much. We
Thank
we we
you,
will we
thank
will
you,
we will we
thank
will
you.
share that website of PWU.
Yes, yes. I'm just hanging around just a little bit more. If there's any more questions coming in, there we go. Last question. We have to go. We have another one coming up. Panel. Why do most Filipino printmakers shift to painting? Is it because most would only do an artist proof instead of doing edition prints? You know, Noel and Noel, Nuki, you both have done different mediums. Could you
Mhm.
just have a quick answer, each one of you, to printmaking versus painting? The idea of artist proof and edition prints, I don't think really applies to painting because they're not reproductive, editions or serial. A painting is always unique and one off.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
but meanwhile, the first part of his question was really very interesting. Why do most Filipino printmakers shift to painting? How about Nuki? You're a painter?
I think Ege can answer this question. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, like for me, for instance, it's kind of taxing, no, to do the series, no. But I'd love to. I'm very. I really admire the printmakers, no, with all their skills and technical dexterity, no. But I myself, I'm having problems with the process, no. I'm having problem with the process. So I think that's a common problem with all the other artists.
Mm,
Unless of course you really want to pursue printmaking, no, as a discipline or as a medium.
I'm
Sorry.
really trying hard not to react right away. But Noel, how about you? Rebuttal or agreement with Nuki?
Yeah, I think it's more of a personal choice. Like in my case, I do large scale sculptures as well. Although I started as a printmaker um, way back when I was still in college, but from there I do. I mean, at that time, I was doing also mixed media work. I mean, it's like shifting your gear from one
Mm,
work to
yeah,
another work,
yeah.
and then I'm doing really large scale work like 3 meter high stone sculptures. And I guess it's more of a personal choice. I mean, sometimes you have a minute of variations which you would like to develop instant result because of the physical handling of the materials,
Yes.
and so you want instant result. Whereas in printmaking, you want to take time, you want to really digest more of what you
Mm,
have in your hand, and the process of making, and then really immerse yourself in the act of doing it, and minute by minute, momentarily, you really try to take time to uh, to uh, critic your work before you end up producing multiple copies. I guess that's the process involved also. The process dictates you. And so if you
mhm.
want to work with long process, and then you have a long patience of waiting for your work to be fully developed, I guess printmaking would be the best. But instant, instant, sometimes instant gratification lies also on deficiency of producing works such as digital art, which is like in one sitting you produce instantly your work, right? So this is the
Guilty,
instant,
guilty,
yeah, this is the instant gratification, right? But
guilty as
uh,
charged.
but if you think like, but if you think like the long process, it's your in a way uh, uh, constitute also, no, how you would like to gratify yourself, I guess. That's it. The physical handling of the material itself, it's something that you can relate to.
I have to jump in because I can only give myself 2 minutes left to answer this question. So, Egay Talusan Fernandez, salamat gid for asking this, huh? Because okay, ako answer to Nuki rebuttal. Nuki, you've never had a very good, happy, fun play date. Play date. Introduction lang yon. Just play. Just try it. No? Until you try all the different mediums or processes, kasi ang dami for printmaking. Maybe one will hit you, then you can keep trying. Another one might, you'll keep trying. Sa amin, printmakers, and the way Noel talks, Nako, I was also getting into the passion, no? I can hear his passion coming out for printmaking. It is a process. But yours will always be, if you're just bago, it's a process of discovery. Oh, ano to? Or what if I do this? Or what if I do that? By a certain level of siguro skills, no? And we say, oh, I want to try intaglio. Intaglio muna. Well, iba na yung relief, no? Relief. Ako, ganun ko. Then I become like Noel. I'm thinking of the process. I am preparing my plates. I've got my paper and everything. But you know what? And I think Noel knows this. Elmer said this too in his talk kahapon. Once we put the paper on top of the plate and we apply the pressure by hand or through the press, we still don't know what it's going to look like. We do not know until we have that first exciting, nervous reveal. And then when we look at it and we see it, either we are happy or we will say, one more, I gotta try this. Eto. It's always parang self-discovery, challenge, anticipation. I don't think any other medium can do that. Yung painting mo, diretso. Dab of paint, you see it. Digital, computer print it. You see it flat. But when it comes to printmaking, there's the reversal, there's the pressure, there's the ink on the paper or the surface, there is your hand. I don't, I can't imagine almost any other kind of medium that does it except siguro maybe music and dancing together. Physical and emotional and cerebral. Okay, thank you for listening to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Maglaro tayo. Maglaro tayo. Nuki, I'm going to invite you over. You come to Negros, mag-play date tayo.
Sure,
Ayan,
sure. Okay.
play date lang. Walang expectation.
But Angela, I have to make some ano. I had the we had the best teachers in PWU for printmaking. Lito Mayo, Sir Pandy Abiado. So that makes me a bad student. Sorry.
Nag-give up sila sa'yo.
Can
So,
I add one more?
sure, Noel.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah, as I was telling my students who are into painting, because they're more really into painting. You know the difference between painting and printmaking. Painting is direct application of paint, whereas printmaking is indirect application of paint, and that's how you treat it.
Tama. Good, good. That's a good point. And so I hope that you'll stay on for the next panel because you'll see women printmakers in groups like just going like, okay, let's do this as groups, play dates, workshops, residencies, ganon. It's like our grassroots effort here in the Visayas. So that's at 4 o'clock. and you can come back and stay, get yourself something to drink, merienda. I'm gonna go get myself a beer or a glass of wine, depending what's in the fridge. But Noel and Nuki, madamo nga salamat, kid.
Thank
Thank you
you very
very
much.
Thank you
much
too.
for joining us.
Thank
On behalf of Limbag Kamay, we have 3 more days. So go to cartolino.com to look at the prints, to see the variety and the range. And this is only a beginning because we need your help to teach us more, to take us through the structures, of printmaking. Because maybe half of us were doing it on our own, and the other half have been doing it for much longer time. So sana, the pros and the newbies will help each other. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
Invitation.
very
Thank you.
much.
Yeah.
Salamat kid ha, and
See you
Thank you
later.
too.
be safe
Thank you
out
too,
there.
Angel. Yeah.
Stay
We'll
safe.
see
You
ya.
too.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.